tell you a story. Last week we did a trip to the mountains and the Pajero developed an issue. So I'll tell the whole story. Back home, before we left, I topped the tank with diesel, the regular one that I always put in my cars. And since it's winter, for sure it's winter diesel, so no doubt about it. The trip was like 200 something kilometers length one way, and in total 450 or so. And once we arrived at the mountains, I washed the car to get rid of all the salt and all the grime and dirt from the roads. I don't think they use salt these days, but calcium chloride or something like this. But in any way, I'm not sure whether it's not really damaging the underneath of the car. So I washed it. It was cold. It was -6 to -8 degrees Celsius, so pretty cold. And then I parked the car, and during the night the temperature dropped to -13, -14, and yeah, now it's -16. In any way, in the morning we had breakfast, we got prepared, hopped into the car, and I started the engine. No problems. The engine started perfectly fine. No trembling, no rough idling, no nothing. But then I put the car in gear, in drive, and we hit the road. What do you know? 5 meters on the road, and the car began to behave strangely. Like the sensation was the same as when you're having the ESP activated, or DSC, or whatever it's called on Japanese cars, and you're driving on slippery surfaces, and the computer takes off the gas so that you don't slip into other drivers or whatnot. So those were the symptoms. I immediately pulled over, put the car in neutral, and quickly accelerated to stabilize the engine rotation, as the idling began to behave strange as well. So that was weird. Once I accelerated a bit, the car began to act more normal than it did before. Okay, so I put it back in drive and drove for 10-20 meters, and the car began to behave the same, like it was cutting the gas. Well, so I parked the car and let it idle for 10 to 15 minutes, occasionally revving the engine up. And then we continued the trip, 20 kilometers or so. The car behaved normally, no issues whatsoever. Then came the other day, when we had to go back home. So we hopped into the car, the engine started perfectly fine, the car drove perfectly fine. I drove with 19 to 100 kilometers per hour for say 30 to 40 kilometers, no issues. And then the car just entered some kind of limp mode, but it wasn't turbo. I know what a turbo limp mode looks like, and it wasn't that. So the engine began to lose power, and occasionally I felt that it wanted to stall. then I got worried, and I noticed that this behavior happened at 80 to 90 kilometers per hour in load, with the accelerated pedal firmly pressed. Well, I quickly learned how to drive the Pajero in that state, and managed to do a steady 90 to 100 kilometers per hour at 200 RPM in drive on automatic in the fifth gear, but with gently using the accelerated pedal, and we arrived home safely. But nonetheless, it was enough so that I get suspicious. In addition, one morning when my wife wanted to go to work with the Pajero, she drove like couple of meters, 10 meters maybe, and the engine stalled while she was on the accelerator pedal. So she put the car in park and restarted the engine. The engine started perfectly fine, and we talked on the phone, and she let the car in the parking lot. And then that happened yesterday in the morning, and in the evening I took the car, put the diagnostics on it, no errors. That's very interesting. So no errors logged on the computer. Well, then I got really suspicious, and I said it has to be the fuel, or also the SCV valve, the suction control valve. That would give similar feelings, sensations, so to say. So I decided to go to the petrol station. I had like 10 liters of the previous fuel in the tank. So I went to the petrol station and put the highest grade diesel, winter diesel possible. And I also inserted a full can of ProTech common rail diesel system cleaner in the tank, and took the car out for a drive. It was night, 10:30, 10 to 10:40 p.m. Nobody on the streets. I set on doing a 160, 180 kilometer trip to clean up the eventual sludge or whatever I thought it was. It wasn't water into the sensor, into the fuel filter, as the sensor didn't light the bulb on the dashboard. So as you can see, I have no indicators in the dashboard. So I went for a drive. I forced the car a bit, went to even 140 kilometers per hour on a non-circulated road. Everything was well. Then I continued my trip with 90 kilometers per hour steadily for another 60 kilometers. Then the engine suddenly lost power, and I wasn't able to accelerate to more than 50 kilometers per hour in drive. Otherwise, the car would simply, the engine would simply tend to stall. And then I got a bit frightened, since it were minus 13, minus 14, nobody on the street. Luckily my phone, I had signal on my phone. The nearest town was like 20 kilometers away from where I was, and back home, the road back home was 70 kilometers. So I thought for a bit, and I took the hard decision of going back home. I stopped a bit in a parking place. It's much to say, on the side of the road, and I forced the engine a bit. The idling, interestingly, the idling was perfectly fine, no issues. Only when I was accelerating, When I was reaching 2000 RPM, the engine wanted to stall, and between 2000 and 3000 it was very rough. Like accelerate, cut the gas, reaccelerate, cut the gas, reaccelerate, cut the gas. Weird. At least that didn't happen to me with the Pajero. Yeah, I know it's a almost 300,000 kilometers car, but I really take maintenance seriously. So I always replace everything on schedule. I replace the oil every 7 to 10,000 kilometers. All the filters, differential oils, transfer case oil, gearbox oil, ATF, everything, I replace them on time. Well, on my road back home, I wasn't able to accelerate more than 50 kilometers per hour, and whenever I reached any hill, the sensation was like the engine was going to stop every second. But in any case, I managed to dose the accelerated pedal so that I was able to steadily drive with those 50 kilometers per hour maximum. Now the interesting thing happened. At some point, apparently I got out of the main road. Let me get back on the road. Apparently I'm on a field directly now. Okay, so as I was saying, driving with 50 kilometers per hour, at some point the car easily accelerated to 60, then 70, then 80, and at some point I had almost 95 kilometers per hour with the same position of my foot on the accelerator pedal. And that's interesting. Something just went off on the fuel lines, or how to explain it. If there was any clogged line or clogged filter, then at some point something happened. I was able to accelerate again to 3050 RPM, no issues. So either it was the fuel, or the SCV valve, or the oil control valve, or how it is called, or I don't know. But I was able to arrive back home with the car fully functional. And today, this is the day after, when I'm filming this, I took the car again for a drive. As you can see, I'm on the field, there's nobody on the road. I'm in 4H, and it's minus 15 to minus 16 outside, and I have no issues. The car started perfectly fine. I was able to accelerate constantly up to 3500 RPM. The engine has power. There is really no issue now with the car. But honestly, I don't think it's solved. Honestly, I don't think it's solved. Well, if it was the diesel, then yes. With the new fuel that I put and the cleaning solution, for sure. I already ordered a new fuel filter, but this one, oh, there's a deer there. I'm not sure if you can see it. There are 3 of them looking curiously at me. Maybe if I can go slower. Yeah, it's running. Okay. So I already ordered a new filter, as I was saying. Fuel filter, the one that I have now on the car was replaced 16,000 kilometers ago. So it's not yet the time to change it. Normally I replace them between 20,000 40,000. The fuel quality where I live is very good, so there is really no reason to replace it earlier than that. But I will replace it just to be sure it wasn't the filter. Maybe there was sludge, there were deposit sediments or whatnot in at the fuel pump, and I was unlucky enough to top up the tank just before they refuel the station. Could be. And now hopefully all the debris is are in the filter. Anyway, I will replace it. I already ordered it. It's on its way. It should be here Monday. Then I will drive the car some more. I will check the condition, and the next candidate would be the SCV, so the suction control valve. It's a pretty easy operation. I don't think that I would need more than 20 to 30 minutes to replace one. But I will have to find one that is OEM, so Mitsubishi made. There are 3 more deers running on the field. I think I've seen over 7 deers this evening. Yeah. So I'm a bit puzzled. It's the first time the Pajero makes these kind of symptoms, has these kind of symptoms, and I'm not really happy about it. Since I was saying I'm doing maintenance very seriously, and I was a bit took by surprise with our little son, and cold outside. Was a bit interesting feeling when we were at the mountains, on the mountainside. I'd better go directly through the field here. So I'd like to fix this up as quickly as I can, and then report back. I'm not sure if I might as well continue filming this snowy road through the field. Minus 14, temperature up a bit, and I'm in 4H. There's no sleeping, as it's pretty icy. It's the snow is a bit icy, and it's very shiny. But the car isn't sleeping. So yeah, I read a bit on forums for similar issues. I also asked the AI about it, and it merely made a synthesis of what I read on the forums. Of course, people say about injectors, about the high pressure pump, and other serious issues, but to my knowledge they don't manifest like this. It's either wrong, either okay. For me, the issue was intermittent, and in addition, today at work, a colleague of my wife said that her mother had a similar issue with her diesel car yesterday or this morning, I don't recall when, the engine on her car just stalled. I don't know what model, what type of car she has, but apparently it was diesel as well, since the husband of my colleague's co-worker is actually a mechanic, owns a service, and he proceeded to replace the filter on her mother's car, and actually he said that inside there was jellified diesel and some kind of sludge. Of course, we don't fill the tanks from the same place, so there is for sure no relation between these issues, especially since mine happened a week ago and reiterated yesterday evening. Normally the 4M41 engine, especially the common rail one, is a very good engine with very good reliability, and if maintained accordingly, you can really rely on it to take you wherever you want, both on-road and off-road. I haven't seen, but I've heard stories, even watched YouTube videos with people owning Pajeros with 500,000 kilometers, or even more, 600,000. There are also stories with Pajeros going up to 1,000,000 kilometers. So for sure, my car is still young, and with good proper maintenance, for sure it will bring me many years of good quality service. But now I'm thinking, if I were on an expedition, for instance, if I were in Siberia or somewhere in Europe, maybe North Cap or something, with snowy conditions, Finland for instance, or Norway, and I would have experienced these kind of issues, then what? Being in the middle of nowhere with an engine that's faulty, I really don't think it's worth living these kind of situations. So better be prepared and fix everything while I can. And for sure it's interesting that there were no error codes. Well, there was one, but it was related to the tire pressure monitoring system. Here is a rougher section of the road. Anyway, I'll stop talking and just enjoy the scenery. And hopefully the issue was related to diesel. Hopefully. bit slippery. Still on 4H. I could probably lock the differential for more traction. Then it would behave like the Patrol does. But the road is pretty easy to handle, so no need to lock it yet. Once it got colder, the interior plastics began to rattle twice as much as before. I said to myself that in one of these summer days, when I'm not working on a Patrol, I will disassemble some of the plastics on the dashboard and add some foam in there. The one that I use to insulate the top section of the Patrol. I find it very good for anti-rattling purposes. On this descent, let's take it slowly. since I'm pretty sure there is no one to help here. It's pretty much in the middle of nowhere. There are tracks. There were people through here. Apparently also some tractors or something with big wheels. Definitely way bigger than what I have on the Pajero. No stress, as they say. In my opinion, the transmission of the Pajero is one of the best in the 4x4 world. It's not better than the Patrol on pure off-road, but in most situations the Pajero is very, very easy to drive. Very easy to drive, even for those that are not that experienced. It's very easy to drive. You just point the car where you want to head, and it will stay on the road. Be it snowy, slippery, normal asphalt, gravel. They really did a good job with this transmission. And since it's automatic, it's very easy to control, to dose the acceleration when going uphill. My Patrol, for instance, is manual, and whenever I have to climb a difficult section on a mountain or on a hill, then the clutch becomes a bit abused, and the accelerator as well. But the Pajero is way easier to control. A few years ago I did a very dangerous descent with the Pajero on 4LC. So I had the low range and the center locked, and I did a 15-16 degree slope descent, with snowy conditions. And I had no stress. That's what I say now, but at that point I felt everything in my knees. They were trembling. But now I say it was no stress. So I think I'm approaching the asphalt. I'm seeing cars that are driving at higher speeds. I don't really know exactly where I am. I have an idea of where I am, but I will see exactly when I will reach the asphalt. And then on the asphalt I will try to force the car a bit more to see whether the issue would manifest again or not, and then hit the road back home. I believe another 60 kilometers or so to reach home. But compared to yesterday night, today I feel way more confident that the car will, the engine won't have the tendency to stall. So another descent here. But since there are tracks and there is is little snow, these things are pretty easy to attack, these roads. So I feel like I talked a lot, but normally I would have let this entire video only with the engine noise, the engine sound. And I got a bit frustrated about this issue, especially due to the fact that I really care about the Pajero and all my cars, for the same reason that I don't want to be let out there in the field with a broken car. So I just do regular maintenance and always put the best parts that I can find, OEM mostly, otherwise from reputable manufacturers. And most of the operations I do myself, and where I don't have the tools or the expertise, then I have friends with their own garage that can help me. But in general, I do the car maintenance myself, and also replacing certain parts on the suspension, on the engine, on the transmission even. I will replace the SCV valve for sure, now that I know it causes the same symptoms and behavior. Once the weather will get warmer, I will replace it. Apparently somebody had fun on this road. From the tracks, it appears that it's a car with small wheels, maybe a Jimny or a Samurai or a Vitara. I can clearly identify the tractor tracks, but these smaller ones are for sure belonging to a smaller 4x4. I've even seen circles on the field with the same track width, so it was probably the same car. I'm still descending. There might be more than 300 meters of descent. It's still minus 14. Sorry for the shaky video. Some of the tracks took a right there. I'll take the left one and accelerate a bit so that I can go up the slope. So I see a village on the right with lights. I'll take the left path. I'll put the car in drive so that it would be controlled better with one hand. So exactly what I was saying about the rattling. Whenever the corrugations get more prominent, the rattling intensifies. Another descent. This is more serious. And I arrived to a bridge. I remember this road. I was once in the summer, late summer, maybe autumn, Yeah, I remember it. When it's ice, it's fun to climb over it. Okay. And the descent. Let's take it slowly. Perfect. I really like this transmission. So I'll stop for a bit and check the map. Let's see if the Pajero map knows about this. Most probably, no. Oh yeah, it's on the map. So I'll go up. I'm here, back. I'll just go on forward and see where I arrive. Now that I look at it, I could safely say that, knowing the name of this village, I have around 80 kilometers back home on a main road. No problem. These roads appear to be completely broken. Oh, by the way, another issue. One of the wheels, the left rear wheel, is probably semi-flat, because every couple of days I have to re-inflate it. So normally I have them at 2.2 bars, and whenever I go to the inflator, it says the pressure is 1.7, 1.8. I'll try to go tomorrow to a tire shop and check whether it's the valve or maybe it's the tire itself. I'd say it's unlikely that it's the tire, since BF Goodrich 80 tires rarely get damaged to this point, so that they lose pressure every couple of days. Either they get cut in the off-road, or there are issues with the valves. At least I haven't had experience any issues with off-road tires, be them BFG or whatever other brands I used. For instance, on the Patrol I used the Radar Renegade MT tires, and the same, no issues with them. So I'd suspect it's maybe the valve, or it could be that I have a screw embedded in the tire. I will see. A small climb on this icy snow, and the transmission does a very good job. See, the car is self-aligning on the tracks, and I am at 105,000 RPM. No slippery indicator. The car is just going straight. Alright, I'll stop the filming here, since the asphalt driving is boring, and I'll continue my road back home. Have a nice weekend.
So just to prove that the engine is idling correctly, you can feel it. It sounds very round, like a cat purring. And not like a cat that is about to die, as it was doing yesterday. So I better get back in. Minus 14, it's a bit cold.
So I've been driving the car for quite some time.